Hi, I'm Brian Russell, and I want to help you make this year your best year ever. And you can do that by learning to live from your edge, from finding your edge. When my youngest daughter was a freshman in high school, she was a starter from day one on the girls' varsity soccer team. And an interesting thing happened to her early in the season. In her very first home game, she got the ball and did some spectacular dribbling, made some great passes, had an assist. And a lot of the boys' soccer team had been there, and they got all excited, and they started talking about this new freshman who was fantastic on the soccer field. Well, word got back to Katrina that she had got a recognition for that, and something really interesting happened to her. From that point on, for the rest of the season during home games, she always played it really safe. Instead of being that attacking player who showed up on away games, she scored all of her goals that season away from home. And being the person that would make a risky pass or try to do a daring dribble at home, she always did the most conservative thing and always played safe. I talked to her about it, and she said, "Dad, I don't want to mess up in front of all those boys." And I said, "Well, you know what? If you're afraid to mess up, you're never going to become the player that you're meant to be." And I said, what you're doing with your life, instead of actually going to your very edge and using your best skills, you're actually not giving your team everything that you have because you're afraid of making mistakes. Instead of playing on this huge field, and the field that they play on at home is 120 yards long, and it's about 65 yards wide. I said, "Katrina, you're playing on a field that's maybe 40 by 80. You're doing always the safe thing with the ball." And we talked about it, and I said, "You have teammates that love you. Your coach believes in you. You have people that come and watch the games because they think you're a great player. Give the people what they want. You have support. Don't be afraid of making a mistake. No one's perfect." Now, from there on, she started scoring goals at home. And the last 3 years in high school, she became a leader on her team. Well, what does that have to do with our lives? Well, it's this. If we want to be our best, because, face it, sometimes when you stay in a career or in a job for a long period of time, you can start to get stagnant. You can even start to get bored. You can go through the motions. I know as a teacher, it's always easy to go back to the notes from the previous year, the things that I already know that are going to work, when what I really need to do and what my students need me to do is to push myself, learn new things, experiment, try to present the lessons in different ways with the goal of even having a more spectacular class, a more helpful learning experience for everybody. So think about your own life, your career, your goals, and make it your commitment this year to achieve those goals, and by expanding your capacity to serve others, by learning to live your life, do your job, live out your vocation, not from a safe place, but on the full field. Assess your fears. What is it that's holding you back? What are you afraid of that's keeping you from giving your very best on your work, in your ministry, in your family? And then recognize the joy that you actually can have. Think about those times when you felt most alive in your work. And I'm pretty confident that those are going to be times when you're going all in with your gifts and you're giving your very best work for the world. Don't play safe. Take action and offer your best gifts. That's what it means to live on the edge. Now, when you're on the edge, a lot of people feel like they're going to fall off. And like I reminded my daughter, you have a team. You have a coach that believes with you. You have fans that are coming to watch. When you get to the edge, make sure that you have a community around you. Make sure that you have a series of daily practices and habits that you have to feed and nourish your own soul and to prepare you to live on the edge. But if you're doing those things, don't be afraid to take action, because our world desperately needs people who are all in using their gifts, their talents, and passions, and contributing our highest good. And that's the payoff. There's nothing better in life than to come alive in your own work, because you're growing in it and you're contributing and serving other people. Again, find your edge, and this year can be your best year ever. I'm Brian Russell. I'm your professor for life. Thank you for listening.